Hello and welcome to Rajya Sabha Television. You're watching The Big Picture with me, Frank Rausen Pereira. Well, India and Myanmar relations are rooted in shared historical, ethnic, cultural and religious ties. A number of agreements enhancing bilateral cooperation have been signed or have been agreed upon by the two countries over the years. High-level visits have been a regular feature of India and Myanmar relations for several years now. And talking about visits, Foreign Secretary Harsh Shringla and Indian Army Chief General M.M. Naravne were in Myanmar recently on a two-day visit. They met Myanmar State Councillor Aung San Suu Kyi for talks on taking forward bilateral relations in a wide array of bilateral areas. Shringla and Naravne discussed important bilateral relations during their meeting with Suu Kyi, the Indian embassy said in a tweet without giving out further details. In this edition of The Big Picture, we will analyze the bilateral ties between India and Myanmar. Joining me on the program today are Veena Sikri, former ambassador, Professor Swaran Singh, Chairperson, Centre for International Politics, JNU, and Major General Ashwini Sivaj, retired defence and strategic expert. Thank you to all my guests for joining me on this edition of The Big Picture. Ambassador, I'd like to begin the program with you first. Before we go about talking about the recent visit of General Naravne and the Foreign Secretary, let's talk about the status of the bilateral relationship between India and Myanmar.
I think that Myanmar is a very significant and very important neighbor for India. It is a core neighbor in two aspects. One is India's neighborhood first foreign policy, where Myanmar certainly holds pride of place with all the other neighboring countries that India has. And secondly, as part of our Act East policy, because Myanmar is a real bridge for India between India and ASEAN. Myanmar is a member of BIMSTEC. Myanmar is a very valuable neighboring country. So in all these contexts, Myanmar holds a very significant place for India. I would say even in the context of India's northeast, in the development of India's northeast, in the security situation of India's northeast, in the economic prosperity of India's northeast, Myanmar plays a key role. There are a lot of ethnic and people-to-people connections between in northeast of India and Myanmar. And in fact, there are special dispensations where family ties take precedence and people are allowed to come into India up to a certain point and stay for a few number of days. So it just shows the absolutely civilizational historical links that have existed between Myanmar and India for millennia. Now, to take these forward is a very, very important aspect and dimension of India's foreign policy. And we have been looking at it in certain specific contexts. Connectivity is definitely one, because despite having this long border between India and Myanmar, a very long land border and a very long maritime border, despite this, the infrastructure connectivity has not yet been fully implemented, and there's a great interest and high priority being attached by both sides on doing this. And certainly one of the big aspects of the future development of the relationship is the Kalagan multimodal link, and you do see this as a way of reaching northeast India through Sitwe port. And India is developing Sitwe port. It has been delayed because of the pandemic, but certainly by early 2021, it is hoped that the port will be ready. And with a coastal shipping agreement in place, then we should be able to send our coastal ships from Kolkata to Sitwe and up through the river to Aizawl through the links that have been built. Then there are the large number of infrastructure projects trans-border. Between India and Myanmar. There is the trilateral highway between India, Myanmar and Thailand, where some 69 bridges are to be built. There is the power connectivity. We are now talking of an intergrid connectivity between India and Myanmar, as we have with so many other, as we have with Bangladesh, as we have developed with Bangladesh. The security dimension is really vital, because we know that the northeast, the insurgent groups, they have been taking shelter across the border. But I must say that in this context, the development of the relations between India and Myanmar has speeded up. And to the extent that just in May this year, the Myanmar government actually handed back 22 insurgents who had been caught on the Myanmar side of the border. This illustrates a very high scaling up of the defense relationship, and it is certainly significant that Chief of Army Staff accompanied Foreign Secretary. They both went together on the visit to Myanmar.
Right.
And we have seen that in the context of the security relationship, the Indian and Myanmar Army and defense services have gone significantly further in developing an understanding. And the statement made in Myanmar that Myanmar's relationship with China will not in any way hinder the development of the relationship with India, or these two are entirely on different tracks altogether. This is significant because we have seen that even Myanmar is significantly worried that China has a relationship with Myanmar, active relationship, but at the same time they're helping the insurgent groups of Myanmar in the various state provinces.
Right.
So this is another example of where there is a convergence, a dichotomy. The earlier dichotomy is gone, and now there's a complete convergence of the security perspectives between India and Myanmar. It's been certainly a very important development. And we have seen in this recent visit that a number of these aspects have come into great focus. They've been carried forward, and certainly after the pandemic, as we emerge from the pandemic, we have seen that Foreign Secretary Shringla went to Bangladesh a couple of weeks ago. Then there were the Joint Consultative Committee with Bangladesh, and now with Myanmar. First, the Foreign Office consultations were held 5 days ago with Myanmar, and now the visit to Myanmar, handing over the pandemic medicines, remdesivir, talking about the vaccine, how to get Myanmar covered by vaccine, supply of vaccines. So these have been a really multifaceted, all-round discussion, very vital. As we come out of the pandemic, it is important. It shows the high priority India attaches to the Myanmar relationship. And
absolutely.
The success of the visit has certainly demonstrated this. The meeting with State Councillor, the meeting with the Senior General, the separate meetings with the Foreign Secretary and with the Vice General. So all this has been very significant.
Absolutely. There are several aspects that you brought about, that you mentioned in your opening remarks. I'm going to try and take them up individually and try and, analyze them as well. But first, let me go across to the General now. General, talking about this whole security aspect that the ambassador spoke about and General Narawane's visit to Myanmar, from a defense and strategic point of view and also from an internal security point of view, how significant is it?
Frank, it is very significant. See, the fact that, when there is a tension going on between India and China in Ladakh, yet the Chief of Army Staff has taken out the time to visit the Myanmar, show the importance of Myanmar as on today. And also that he has taken with him the Foreign Secretary. So both of them have gone. Also it shows that how much importance we are now giving to the relation between India and Myanmar. Now, as far as the security relations are concerned, they are very crucial. Remember, up till somewhere late 80s, we were not having best of the relationship with Myanmar because it was governed by the military ruler, and we always thought that Aung San Suu Kyi is not been given a chance to rule it. We were not able to maintain that relationship, and that is the time when our terrorist group and insurgent, they were thriving in Myanmar, and not only in Bangladesh, Chittagong, but also in Yunnan province of China, as well as in bordering state of Chin of Myanmar. But in 19, we changed our stance. We realized the importance of Myanmar, that if we have to fight insurgency in Northeast, you have to cope and cooperate with Myanmar, and that is how the things start changing. Now we have the best of the relation with Myanmar. We are now basically cooperating with them. 22 insurgents which have been handed over by Myanmar on May this year show that they are now working hand in glove. We are training their army. We know it. The western portion of Myanmar, they are not capable of defending themselves. Their army is not very well trained. So we are training their army. We are giving them a weapon system. They are now cooperating with us. Remember what has happened is this Arakan army rebels, which are the one spoil sport. They are not letting our Kaladan project from Sitwe to go toward Aizol because they are extorting money from the contractors. They are the biggest problem there. Then Arakan Rohingya Salvation Army, they are the another problem in the area of Myanmar. In addition to our terrorist group which are functioning, that were NSC and Kaplang. Remember that we have gone in 2015 done a surgical strike and killed over 70 insurgents of NSC and Kaplan. So there is a more cooperation which is taking place between India and Myanmar now. Myanmar is now understanding that if it has to develop in future, it has to balance its relation between China and India. You know, earlier Myanmar was totally in hand in glove with China. Now also, remember, China has a deep pocket. China is making a China-Myanmar economic corridor coming from Kunming and going from Yunnan and going to Kua Kapua port, which is there in Rakhine only. We have also made another port called Sitwe, and from where the ambassador was trying to convey that we have got our connectivity, which is going to Aizawl by your roadways as well as by airways. My point of understanding is that as from the defense point of view, today Myanmar is very crucial to India, and that is why we are now trying to help them out to ensure that we fight insurgency together and we do not allow each other's soil to be utilized by the insurgent group. We have already handed over them a kilo class submarine, Sudhir, the one which we have taken from Russia in 1980, we modernized and given to them. We have also given them a torpedo. We are opening a women training school there in Myanmar. We are training their army. Their officers are also getting training here, and we are now exporting and giving them weapons. Remember that if we have to become a 5 trillion economy, we have to have a better economic relation with Myanmar. This will not do it. A $2 billion of trade between India and Myanmar is too less. And the biggest scope in this is exporting the military hardware. They need it. And don't let them go toward China. We are capable of providing them. We have got a weapon system. We have got an indigenous military industry which is capable of exporting. Let us go and give them these weapons on a cheap rate and on certain incentive so that they buy from India, not from China. This is the current point. And I fully agree on two issues, that it is gateway to Southeast Asia and it is a very crucial state for us. Myanmar as a country, we have to best of the relation, because if we want to look toward the ASEAN countries, we have to go through the Myanmar. Myanmar is the only country out of ASEAN where we have a border, land also, and maritime border also. So overall, I say that in time to come, our relationship between Myanmar must go more military to military. We are giving them importance. Now in time to come, we should able to export them more weapon system and also more training facility to their officers and men in India.
Okay, all right. Professor, let me bring you into the picture now. You know, so whenever we speak about our neighboring states, of be it Myanmar or Bangladesh, or when we look towards the east, you know, we always talk about it with China in mind as well. So how much of a role does China play in all of this? Is our relationship, you know, very different to what China has with these countries? And what does this really mean? What is the bigger picture?
Thank you. China has been for almost 2 decades, very, very influential factor in India's foreign policy, particularly India's engagement with its neighbors. But given the tensions that are going on the border for over now 5 months, that factor has, I think, really become far more important, and we have seen influence of China, particularly in case of Nepal, is making India far more conscious of engaging its immediate neighbors. But when it comes to Myanmar, you notice it's not simply the neighborhood first policy, but also Act East policy that blend together. So even if India had kind of started rapprochement with Yangon from early 1990s, 1992 visit of J.N. Dixit, we have seen in last 6 years there is a certain hyperactive footwork, right from the level of summit meetings almost every year to a whole range of official meetings on both sides, including the recent February meeting between Indian Prime Minister and President of Myanmar when he came to New Delhi. More than 10, I think, MOUs were signed in a whole range of areas. So certain hyper action, particularly when it comes to Myanmar, has been noticed. I do understand that China also becomes really very significant when it comes to dealing with Myanmar because of enormous influence over years. starting from 1988 when we had the Tiananmen Square incident in Beijing, and of course another 88 event of massacre in Yangon, which made both these states as pariah states, and they found nobody else to engage but each other. So since then, enormous influence of China. If you particularly look at the upper Burma part, even today, north of Yangon, your phone SIMs are Chinese. So people are using Chinese phones, as they converse, not the national phone numbers, even within Myanmar. So it's not the Shan state or Kachin state, but lately, of course, issue of Rohingyas and Rakhine state has also become extremely significant. So I think this very interesting calibration of General Naravane accompanying Foreign Secretary Harshvardhan Shringla is a clear understanding of what kind of local equations exist in Myanmar, where military continues to be significantly in control of decision making, and mostly political leaders continue to be ceremonial so far. In fact, Aung San Suu Kyi was not even willing to contest elections next month. Of course, now it is clear that she would be contesting elections. So it is important for India to take a ground situation assessment, not just of stock taking of its own whole range of projects that India is doing, but also of the politics on the ground, of the decision making on the ground, and how to take advantage of that. I heard my two co-panelists mention, if India has to move to 5 trillion economy, you remember from early 1990s when we came out of Hindu rate of growth, it was primarily engaging with Southeast Asia, particularly in trade terms. So Southeast Asia, ASEAN today has trade with India equal to the trade with China.
Right.
And I think with China we are getting enormous difficulties, but with ASEAN we can perhaps find that resilience and demand generation, both increasing imports and exports, and that trade is also not one-sided, it is relatively balanced trade that we have. And for that, the bridge in between India and South Asia is Bangladesh and Myanmar. And that is why engaging Myanmar at various levels, understanding what is happening on the ground in Myanmar, and also understanding China's influence in that region, I think is extremely important for India. And therefore this visit, and this is not the only visit, you have seen Indian Prime Minister visiting twice Myanmar. So it's a hyperactive engagement that is happening. And after COVID-19, which has put a halt on such visits for a certain period of time, this is again, sort of showcasing how India is not just only video conferencing with all leaders, but also sending leaders. The foreign minister is today in Tokyo. So India's increasing engagement with quadrilateral security dialogue also underlines that it is not just economic interests of India.
Right.
It is also strategic interests of India. It is the political engagement of India with larger region, not just Southeast Asia, but Indo-Pacific. And in that sense, I think this is a component which is part of a larger strategy of India, where we can address India's emerging China challenge. But also, I think there is a lot more which stands autonomous of China. And I think we need also to underline that your own opening remarks were about ethnic, cultural, linguistic, historical relationships. And I think that is what is the vantage point for India.
Right. Okay, points taken. Let me take the discussion forward now with the other panelists. All right, so we've spent a lot of time during our with our opening remarks, so I'm going to ask my panelists to all be brief going forward. Okay, so Ambassador, let's talk about some problem. We've spoken about how this relationship is so important, how it has transpired, and how it has reached a good place now in recent times, and how both nations have worked together to bring it to where it is right now. That having been said, do you believe that there are some concern areas, any areas of the relationship that need special attention?
Well, first of all, I think it needs special attention and high priority in terms of implementation. Now, this is a very important aspect because we do know that big projects like the trilateral highway, Kaladan multimodal, they have been, really affected by poor implementation. And there's been enormous delays. Now, this has actually brought down the image of India in Myanmar, that we make a lot of promises, but we don't implement. And I think that part of the reason for this very important high-level visit has been to tell the Myanmar government at the highest level, the senior general, the state councillor, that we are serious about implementation now. So I think this is a very important message that we have. And what has come out of the visit, what has been the focus of the visit, is showing that we are saying we are here for the long term, we are going to implement, and we are going to implement fast track. So this is, we are hoping now that the Sittwe port will be operationalized maybe in the first quarter of 2021, the coastal shipping agreement will be done, and so we actually have an implementation. This is one aspect. The second aspect which I want to highlight is that in a combination of other problems in Northeast insurgent groups along the land border, there is another problem emerging of drug smuggling, of yaba, of heroin. So this is another track that is very serious. We know that even now the very same refugees, Rohingya refugees in Bangladesh, they have become a major source of smuggling into Bangladesh of yaba and other drugs. And the same thing is happening across the India border as well. So this is a real serious problem, and I think this has been mentioned, this has been highlighted, and this has a capacity to really affect the common man, affect the entire relationship, affect the security issues. This is a very important aspect. The third aspect that we have not discussed in any great detail so far is the Rohingya issue. And this is important because, as we know, that Bangladesh also attaches the highest importance to it. And during the recent visit of Foreign Secretary to Bangladesh, when he met Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, and India is going to be on the non-permanent member of the Security Council from January onwards for 2 years. So this is one issue that Bangladesh would like India to look at in serious earnest, to take it up and to make sure that something happens. Now, India has assured that we will do our best. We ourselves are keenly interested in the safe and sustainable return of the Rohingyas to Rakhine State. For that purpose, India has already invested a lot. We have done a lot of infrastructure building in Rakhine, where some 250 houses have been built, some agriculture and training facilities have been built. We're now moving to the next stage, looking at solar energy and others. So we are trying to make sure that with the development in the Rakhine State, that this will help in sending the refugees back in a safe and sustainable manner. But in the meanwhile, while there are these large number of Rohingya refugees in Bangladesh today, there is a serious concern about the radicalization of these refugees. And we know that already through Pakistan, through the Lashkar-e-Taiba and other groups, through the Jamaatul Mujahideen Bangladesh, in Bangladesh, the radicalization process of these refugees is stepping up.
Let's talk about this Rohingya issue that the ambassador has raised, and how big a problem is it really as far as the relationship between India and Myanmar is concerned, and also bringing in Bangladesh into the picture?
As far as the Rohingya issue is concerned, it is a very complex problem. The 7 lakhs Rohingyas have come from the Rakhine province and now in the Cox's Bazar, and they are now in Bangladesh. Our biggest problem is twofold. One is we are worried that these Rohingyas may try to come toward India because India border is slightly porous, because the Bangladesh has made sure these Rohingyas cannot manage to go any other part of Bangladesh. But few of them are trying to come in India. There are already about 1 lakh Rohingyas inside India. And there have been instances where it has been found out that ISI is going in a big way to radicalize these Rohingyas in Cox's Bazar itself. They are training them. And this is a cause of concern as far as India is concerned. India wants a very fair solution as far as Rohingyas are concerned. India wants all these Rohingyas must go honorably back to Myanmar, and there should be a proper environment created also by Myanmar so that these chaps can go back. We do not want them to linger on in Bangladesh for too long. We are giving complete support to Bangladesh as far as in terms of infrastructure, in terms of food, medicine. But more than that, we are also helpless for the fact that Rohingyas, if they are staying in Bangladesh for too long, there is a big security risk for India itself, because we ourselves have got about 1 lakh Rohingyas, and there is a chance of they getting radicalized because they are a vulnerable people who can be radicalized. So this is one issue which is very important. Now the second issue, I can tell you, Frank, As far as India and Myanmar is concerned, a military cooperation, naval exercise is taking place, two other exercises are taking place, in the sense that in time to come, our military to military cooperation has to increase tremendously if we want to resolve the issues which are existing in Northeast as well as in the western portion of Myanmar. I think this will bring the development on the other side. And if in addition to Rohingya, we able to handle this military to military relationship, this will have a large implication to bring peace and tranquility in this complete Northeast as well as the western portion of Myanmar.
Right. Okay. All right. General, thank you for joining us on the program and sharing your views as well. I know you have to be elsewhere. Let me get a concluding remark from the professor now. Professor, how do we take this relationship up a notch? What do we do going forward?
I think the first thing we need to really work upon is expanding our economic relationship, both in terms of our investments, which are, I think, roughly around 800 million at this stage. Though in the neighborhood after Afghanistan, that's a major destination of India's investments, particularly. Second, I think also we need enormous focus on expanding our trade with Myanmar, which is roughly between 1.5 to 1.7 billion dollars over years compared to China 10 times, 17, 18, 19 billion dollars. So there is enormous space there to first of all build economic relationship with Myanmar, and Myanmar can have enormous absorption of India's what we call appropriate technologies and techniques. So building on economic relationship, I think then building strategic and military relationship would be far more kind of sustaining over a period of time, because stakes of local constituencies in supporting that kind of engagement with India will be beyond the military leaders who could change their mind over a period of time, given the lure that Beijing could provide to some of these military leaders. So I think economic engagement is first, which is where we need to focus. Then on that building military and strategic relationship, of course, crises that the local leaders are facing right now, for example, crisis on the border with Bangladesh, crisis with relationship to Rakhine State. India has to also facilitate. India has done enormous, I think about 140 projects in Rakhine States already happening. A border also, we have had 10 years of arrangement where India provides $5 million to build various projects on both sides of the border between India and Myanmar. So in that sense, the other segments could be built upon first by building the constituencies that would support that kind of strong engagement with India. So that the leaders over a period of time, and hopefully they will be democratizing over a period of time as well, would see their own stakes in engaging India a priori, not just simply to find an alternative to China, but autonomous relationship with India has to be built upon. And I think that is the direction in which the relationship is moving already. And we have seen, as I said, a certain hyperactive momentum in engaging Myanmar. And that is not simply because we have the China challenge, but there is a larger awareness of India's greater role in Indo-Pacific, and which is what is also making India engage Myanmar far more seriously.
Okay, all right. On that note, then I'll call it a wrap on this edition of The Big Picture. Thank you to all my guests for joining me on the program and putting things into perspective for us. What's coming out of this discussion is that Myanmar is a very important neighbor of India and holds a very significant place in India's scheme of things. Ties have changed for the better over the last 3 decades. Insurgency in the northeast, which was a major problem for India, has been dealt with effectively in recent years thanks to Myanmar's cooperation. Over the last 5 to 6 years, there has been hyperactivity in the relationship and has reached new heights. Implementation of projects has been an issue and continues to be a problem. We need to deal with the speed of our projects in Myanmar and need to implement them according to plans, is what the panelists are suggesting. The Rohingya issue continues to be a complex problem as well, but it is being addressed jointly by India, Myanmar and Bangladesh. With that, it's a wrap. See you again next time.